I'm Jackie and welcome to my channel. I'm a mom and a preschool teacher, and this channel is all about helping parents and other caregivers help navigate difficult situations with their children. This video is all about how to help a toddler stop scratching your face and other kids' faces. I have a little bit of experience with this, and I understand how frustrating it is when your toddler is scratching you or scratching other kids at school. Since my daughter Olivia, we call her Ollie for short, since she was a newborn, she has always been really expressive with her hands, and we used to have to put mittens on her hands because otherwise she would scratch at her face and cut herself anytime she was hungry or tired or crying. She'll be 2 in a couple months, and I was really hoping that as she came out of the newborn phase that she would grow out of it, but she didn't. She has cut my face several times, has cut my partner, her dad's face several times, and in the 2 months that she was at school before COVID-19, she got 6 incident reports from scratching other children's faces and cutting the skin. So, yeah, I get it. It's frustrating. It's really hard. And before we move on to solutions to this problem, first we need to figure out and understand where the child is coming from so that we can help. I like to use a simple color code for emotions: green, yellow, and red. Green is your normal, you're thinking, you're using the higher centers of your brain. Yellow is when you're thinking emotionally, you're a little bit on edge, you're a little bit stressed out, you're not really able to handle that much. And red is when you've lost control. You're now in survival, you're lashing out, you don't have control over your actions, and you're not able to think rationally because you're not actually able to access the higher centers of your brain. If a child is scratching you, then they need to learn to not scratch you. But children and adults can only learn if they're in green. So when a child is scratching, they're likely to be in yellow or red, and they can't learn a new skill until they come back to green. And the same is for adults. And I'm going to share my experience with how being in a state of survival versus being in a state of normal, higher level thinking was able to take a situation that I couldn't solve to one that has been solved. If you want to know more about the color code with emotions, I do have another video about that, and I'll link it in the description box below. For me, I was handling the scratching situation so poorly. I was getting so angry at her. I would yell at her, I would hold her hand really firmly and tell her no in an attempt to intimidate her, I guess. I would pull away, I would hide in the bathroom and have my partner take over. It was horrible, and I was just so angry. I noticed that her scratching my face sent me into red every single time, and I would lose control every single time. The only way that I can handle the situation differently is if I can come back to green and problem solve. The way that I was handling it was not working. I was just angry. It's important also to understand that anger is a secondary emotion. When we feel anger, it's typically because our bodies and brains are trying to tell us something or to keep us safe from something. Anger is really helpful because if you pay attention and ask questions to your anger, you can usually figure out what's causing it and what you need to do differently. Anger is pretty helpful because it can help give us clues to why we're handling situations poorly. So I realized that my anger, underneath it, was fear. I was afraid that I was going to get fired from my job. I'm a teacher at her school. I was afraid that she was going to get kicked out. I was afraid that the other teachers and the other parents would hate me because I have a bad kid and my daughter is a problem now. And I was just really scared that her scratching could lead to these horrible consequences that I've just made up in my head. And that fear was preventing me from being able to help her learn a new skill. I did not want her to get kicked out of school, and I definitely didn't want to get fired from my job. All I wanted was for her to just stop hurting me and to stop hurting the other kids at school. I am so fortunate that my director is really understanding and all the other teachers are understanding because they've all been in similar situations with their own children. Nobody at the school was taking the situation as badly as I was. I had to find another way because I knew that I was escalating the situation by yelling at her, scolding her, running away. And lashing out at a child will never teach them a new skill. It will only teach them fear and rejection. I talked to her teachers, I got some feedback, and I admitted that I was handling it really poorly. So I had to think. I didn't want her scratching, so what did I want her to do instead? Well, I wanted her to use gentle hands. She was missing the skill of how to use gentle hands, and it was my job to teach her that missing skill. What was happening with her is she was getting flooded with emotion, because toddlers get flooded with emotion. It's just what happens, but she didn't know how to handle it because toddlers are just learning how to handle this wide range of emotions that they're feeling. And because she's so intense with her hands and has been since she was a newborn, when she got flooded with all these emotions, the only thing she knew how to do was grab onto whoever's face was closest to her. And a lot of the times it was me, and sometimes it was another child at school. So in the moment, what did I start doing instead of yelling? Well, it was hard, but I took some deep breaths while her hands were on my face, and might go against what you would think, but I let her pinch. I just let her squeeze. I knew it was going to hurt. It hurt. And I had to just remember in that moment that cuts will heal and pinched skin feels better with some ice on it. So I let her pinch so that she could learn how to let go. While she was pinching my face, I winced. I told her, "Ow, you're hurting my face. Gentle hands." And I rubbed the back of her hand with my hand and kept repeating, "Gentle hands, gentle hands," over and over until finally she let go. And she did. Sometimes she did pinch harder before she let go, and those were the ones that hurt the worst. The hardest part about this whole situation was staying calm while those nails are digging into my face. But I tried to be consistent. I tried to stay calm. And in about 2 weeks of doing that, the coolest thing happened. She started pinching and squeezing my arm when we were doing diaper changes. And it hurt. She dug in there. But I noticed that she would pinch and squeeze, let go, and rub my arm. She was learning how to use gentle hands on me. Children learn by playing, and she was playing with my arm and practicing a pinch and gentle so that she knew what to do next time. I was teaching her what to do in the moment, and then she was practicing all by herself. It took about 2 months of actively working on teaching her gentle hands, and we haven't had an incident since. She no longer scratches my face. She no longer scratches my partner's face. And we're not in school right now because of coronavirus, but I imagine that once we get back in school, she will not scratch another child's face either. She does touch my face. She holds my face, but it never escalates into scratching anymore. So as I was editing, I noticed that I missed something important that I wanted to include. Part of the reason why I kept going to red every time my daughter would scratch my face is that it would actually, and I didn't realize this at the time, it was triggering a PTSD response. If you watch any of my other videos, you'll know that I grew up with an abusive mother, and I have been suffering from anxiety, depression, PTSD, and dissociative issues. And I recently got rapid resolution therapy that helped me quite a bit in recovering from the PTSD, but I didn't realize that the damage that a narcissistic mother does is really deep, is very, very deep. So essentially growing up in that type of toxic environment, there's never a moment where you're safe. You're always in danger of getting taken advantage of, or of not getting your needs met, or getting neglected. There's not a lot of care, and you're just ignored. unless you serve the narcissist. So what that ended up doing to me, anytime that I let my guard down, I would get taken advantage of. So I learned to just never let my guard down. And I don't let people get close to me. I have a really hard time maintaining relationships because of the damage that my mom did. So with my daughter, she is the first human that I've ever felt completely safe with. And because of that, I was taking her scratches really, really hard. So this is a relationship that I've been working on being vulnerable in since she was born. And she's not even 2, and I have a closer relationship with her than any other human, not even my partner. Because I never learned what it's like to have a safe relationship with any adult. So when we were having these gentle moments and we were playing and we were playful, and then all of a sudden it caught me off guard and I got hurt, it instantly sent me back into a PTSD episode. And I didn't realize that that was what was happening, on top of the fact that I was scared of getting kicked out of my job. Recognizing that the intense reaction that I was having, the anger reaction that I was having, was, for me, a PTSD episode, really helped me identify why I was acting the way I was, and why I was so angry. And it helped me differentiate between the present, right now, where I am safe from the abuse, to the past where I was not ever safe. So then when it was time to let her pinch my face, I was able to, because I wasn't dissociating anymore and I wasn't getting a PTSD response anymore. I had broken free of it. And because I broke free of that, I was able to help my daughter learn a skill. Another thing that was important that I forgot to say when I was recording earlier was that when my daughter had her hands on me, not only did I tell her that it hurts and that she needs to use her gentle hands, but I also told her why she was doing what she was doing. So she had her hands on me and I said, "You seem really frustrated. You're squeezing my face and you look mad. You're mad because I'm changing your diaper and you don't like it. You're really tired, so you lost control of your hands and you're squeezing my face. It really hurts. Show me your gentle hands." So helping them identify why they're doing what they're doing is really helpful, so that they know what's happening, and giving them a framework for what's happening in their world is a really useful skill for little ones to learn. Thank you for letting me share my story. I hope it was helpful. I wish you peace, love, health, and joy.